So I built myself a living room PC. I have 2 kids and a wife, so I'm not able to sit over here by my gaming set. Why the fuck is this shit not working, man? Okay, well, let's continue. I have 2 kids and a wife and a full-time day job, so I don't have so many hours in the day that I can sit here every day and just play. So I wanted to make myself, or build myself, a setup that I could use also on my living room TV here in my living room. It had to do a lot of things. I didn't want to just buy a console because I wanted to play my Steam library, my Epic Games library, and all the other different fucking launchers that's available at this point. There's too many, so many launchers. But yeah, I wanted to play all of them and not just be locked into one ecosystem like the PlayStation 5, which is behind me, or the Xbox that I have currently in use on my TV. But yeah, I wrote a list of the things that I wanted the PC to be able to do. So I am a bit prepared for this video, actually, even though it's very unscripted. So the list's name is Building a Living Room PC Console-like Experience. So the first real part of this video is making a living room PC that runs Steam Big Picture mode or some kind of game mode via Linux or Windows 11. I'm not sure which of these operating systems that I'm going to use before I started that, but it has to be console-like experience. I need to turn on the power button on the PC and it just boots automatically into Steam. And when I connect my controller via Bluetooth, everything just works. So it has to be done with as little as much use of a keyboard and mouse as possible. So first of all, I had to choose and pick the hardware. Was I going to buy secondhand? Was I going to buy new? So I actually ended up doing a bit of both, to be honest. So I used an old computer that I had lying around, which I was using for a media server kind of things, something like Plex, but more like a failed project, to be honest. It has an i7-8700 Intel CPU. It's rocking 24 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM. The RAM prices right now is a bollocks. I bought some RAM for like 100 euros and I just checked it out today because I wanted to buy some more, and it has popped up 200% or something. It's crazy. It's like 300 euros now. And I am using my former graphics card before I switched to Linux, which I purchased a 9060 for, but before that I was rocking a 5060 8GB version. So I put that in the living room PC, and with the new updates to Transformer resolution from NVIDIA, was quite a good solution actually to do so. Yeah, so with the hardware down, I also had to upgrade the storage because I was rocking like 4 different kind of old SATA SSDs, and they were not that fast. One of them clocked at like 100 megabytes read and write speeds, which my internet write is a gigabit up, a gigabit down, so it can be a lot faster, to be honest. So I bought a 1 terabyte Crucial NVMe SSD generation 4 that I put into the second slot on the motherboard. The other slot is located right above the video card, which is hosting a 237 gigabyte NVMe SSD Gen 3, I think. So yeah, the OS is at the moment running off a 512 gigabyte SATA SSD, which is fine. It boots up fine. There's not a problem there. So the next time I was thinking about either doing Windows 11 or a Linux distro like Basside, or maybe using Fedora like I'm doing right now, and just launching it into big picture mode. So I tried out Basside a month ago or something on my NVIDIA GPU with game mode, and yeah, it was shit. To be honest, nothing to do with the distro or the operating system. It's more to do with NVIDIA not releasing their drivers. But yeah, that's something else. So I actually went off Windows 11, so I had to upgrade or update the BIOS. I flashed the BIOS. It was horrible, but it worked fine. And I went with Windows 11, and next up was getting booting it up automatically into Steam Big Picture mode, and you can just enable that in Steam, so that was not a problem at all. Next up was locking in automatically, which took me a bit of time to figure out, to be honest. And the reason it took me some time was because I was following these online guides of how to putting in these keys in the settings, and making it so that Windows just locks in for you. In Windows 10, you can just bypass that by just not have a login, pretty much, and just log you straight into desktop. On Windows 11, you have to do some more work to get it to work. So yeah. So back to what I was saying. the fuck did I write in my script here? Just give me a second. So I forgot to check this little box that gave the setting like user administrative level user access or something like that. And after I checked that little box, it just popped up automatically. It fucking worked. So there has been no complications so far regarding that. But I would have loved to ditch Windows and went with Linux, because at the moment I am using Fedora on my main PC here. And I'm loving it so far. So I would have loved it to be able to do that, but also wanted to play Battlefield and some anti-cheat games on some PC. I am dual booting right now on this one, but I wanted a console-like experience, so I wanted all the games, not just some of them. I know it's a bit a hypocrite. There we go. I'm a bit of a hypocrite because I am running away from Microsoft with my main rig here. But on my living room PC, I am not. So yeah. Next up was installing, was actually playing or streaming it to my phone via Steam Link. I actually tried to set that up on this one, but there's a black screen when I do it, and I don't want to switch to KDE Plasma X11 instead of Wayland. So I'm not gonna do that because I do love GNOME. It's amazing. For Fedora, I love it so much. The workflow is so amazing. So I set it up on the Windows 11 PC, the living room PC as well, and it works wonders. The problem was that the controller that I had was this one. So you put your phone up here, and it clips onto the Xbox controllers down here, but the weight distribution was way off because I got tired after like 20 minutes. My hands were cramping up, so I did something else. I didn't buy it right away. I was searching around on the internet, and I saw a Linus Tech Tips video about these handheld gaming controllers, and the 8BitDo Ultimate was actually what fell me. It feels like an Xbox controller, and that's what I'm used to playing with. Played with Xbox my whole life. I'm fairly new to PlayStation, so this was perfect. As you can see, this one, it's perfect for the use case that I have, and I can show some things on screen here, or maybe something me playing it afterwards. But as you can see here, I am booting up Fallout 4. And it works perfect. It's streaming via GeForce Now in this clip, but I was also subscribed to that, so I would be able to play my games on the go when I'm not on my local Wi-Fi, because I don't want to have my PC on in sleep mode when I'm not at home, just in case of fire hazard. It is an old building. We're living in an old building from 1854 here in Denmark, so there might be some fire hazards that I'm not accustomed to. I'm not an electrician, so I'm not going to take any chances on that, to be honest. So I am using GeForce Now whenever I am not inside my own local network to be able to play this. I'm mostly going to be using that for when I'm playing on the couch and the wife want to watch some shows on the TV, because it's not only my TV, it's also hers. So we have to share that. Or if we're watching something together, she's knitting or doing something with her yarn. I'm not sure what she's called. There's a lot of different ways to knit yarn. I think it's knitting. She's giving me a look. Crocheting, Jesus Christ, it was not a good look, I can tell you that. That's what it's mainly going to be used for. So it's not going to be used for multiple hours every day. It's maybe going to be 30 minutes here, 30 minutes there, maybe max an hour. It's going to be very useful when we're on the go, or we're at my parents' house, which is in the other end of the country, and the children have been put down, and I maybe want like 30 minutes of me time and just game it on a little bit. Then that's going to be perfect. It's a clip-on, as you can see here on the video. It's just perfect, man. So that worked wonders, and with the Steam Link as well, I can sit back and relax and play some games on my phone, streaming it from my PC on my local internet. So yeah. So all throughout this whole process, me setting it up, building it, rewiring it, everything, installing the new SSD, I was doing it off a Wi-Fi adapter, so the internet was fairly slow. I did like maybe maximum of 70 megabytes per second, and yeah, that was just terrible experience. It took me like 3-4 hours or something to install Fallout 4, which is something that I'm not used to, because with a gigabyte up, a gigabyte down, I can usually install games like 10-15 minutes tops. So what I did was I had to figure out how to route a Ethernet cable all the way over there without, ruining my wife's aesthetics of the apartment and the living room. So one of the things that I was looking for was buying a longer Ethernet cord. But the problem is that then I would have to mount it to the wall, and we were living in a rented apartment, so I don't want to mount a lot of stuff to the walls, just in case when we go out, I don't want to lose the deposit plus some. So that was one of the ideas that I just completely did not go for. The third option was buying a network switch. At this point, I have used about $150-$200. I googled around a bit and actually figured out that I could reuse an old router that I had laying around to build it into a network switch, and that's exactly what I did. So you can see here the cable is running from the PC all the way across under my desk, where there's a Huawei Wi-Fi 6 router which I had set up. So usually you go in and change these settings, you set up some IP addresses, blah blah blah. But on this Huawei, I just had to access its local IP address, and it just changed all the settings for me automatically. I just had to select it via the something called DCSHP, something like that, and set it up via Ethernet sharing, and it actually turned the router into a network switch. It updated itself with some new firmware, and it just worked. It took me like 5 minutes, so that was perfect. And now I do have a gigabit up, gigabit down. It's about 600 megabytes per second download speeds. And after all of these things, we actually have a final product. The console-like experience is not like sitting down on the couch and pressing the button on your controller and it just boots up. I actually actively have to go up, turn it on with the power button, and it boots up, turn on the TV, and switch to HDMI. I did see a video of some guy just matching different signals, but I don't have the time nor the patience of doing that. So that when the PC turns on, the TV turns on, and it switches automatically to that HDMI signal. That guy did it. It looked fucking awesome, just like with a console. But nope, I am not doing that. I don't have the time nor the patience for that. But it is a console-like experience. Sometimes I do have to use the mouse and keyboard to, update drivers, GPU drivers, or there's some motherboard drivers I have to update via the motherboard software, or I have to go into a different launcher. I did try to set it up in Steam, but some of these launchers don't really tell you where the executable files are. That was a bit of a hurdle, but I got over it. I connected a cheap wireless mouse that I had lying around with a 2.4 gigahertz dongle, so it's fine, not a problem there. So yeah, you can take a look. I'm just going to record some gameplay for you guys. I'm going to loop over this video, and also at the end here, I'm going to show the PC and, all the things I've talked about here. So I hope you guys like this video. If you like these kind of videos, I'm kind of moving more towards these than doing gaming videos at the moment, because these are something that I can do in my spare time without fucking using 2 hours to record some games. Then I can just, I like fiddling with tech and computers in general. So yeah. But I'll see you guys whenever I see you. So if you like this video, subscribe, leave a like, and comment if you have any questions, both good or bad questions, or some criticism, or some negative, or positive for that matter. So yeah, see you guys. Bye.